Now, do this immediately after you get paid. These are the best 5 things that you're supposed to do immediately after you get your salary, so you don't get yourself into the problems. By the way, have you ever been in a situation whereby you get paid, let's say maybe a third or fifth or whichever the time, and then after maybe let's say 6 or 7 days, you're like, oh my goodness, I had like 20,000, 50,000. I can't even tell where exactly my money is going. Then you take a pen and paper, you're trying to skim down and trying to monitor where your money has went. And then you're like, okay, fine, I did say 20,000 somewhere, 10,000, 2,000, okay. Okay. At least at the end of the day, you manage to capture all your expenses. But again, you ask yourself, was it the wisest way of spending your money? Now, today I'm going to share with you 5 tips or things that you're supposed to do immediately after you get your cash. All right, let's get to the board. Right now, the very first number 1 thing that you're supposed to do is to maintain the money. What does it mean? There are people who get paid today, the money can't even see 24 hours in their hands. All right, you find the next morning these guys do not have the money, and this is where majority of the people get confused. The very first thing that you do once you get the money is to maintain it. Not even saving, not even spending, is to maintain it. That capability to, the absorbability, your ability to absorb that, to maintain, to stay with. If today, right now, you're watching this video, I give you 10,000 and I want to meet with you tomorrow morning, tomorrow at the evening, and ask you, will you still have the money? So the best thing to do once you get the money is to maintain it, that ability to retain that money. All right, that's the first thing that you get. All right, you don't get the money, you start squandering the money based on whatever things that you want to do out there. So the first thing you get the money is to maintain it, remain calm and collected. You see, there are some people who get money and then they're it's like their brains blow off and they're like out of proportion. Have you ever seen this kind of an individual? Once they get the payment, they behave in a very weird ways, like a different individual who comes inside of them, and then they're like, have you ever seen those kind of guys? So once you get your money, remain calm. A message comes to your phone and saying, hey, a certain amount of money has been credited to your account. Remain calm. All right, just remain calm. Don't feel, think, maintain it. Okay, that's the first thing. Number 2, you now go to what we call your savings and plans and the amount. And this is where people are doing the difference. People spend then save. No, you're supposed to save then spend. Let me ask a very simple question. Wow. If you've been paying out there, why do you think, maybe let's say you are enrolled to NHIF, maybe you're enrolled to, maybe there is a circle that you're paying, why do you think these guys cut their money way before it even reaches you? Why do you think immediately you get your pay slip, usually look the deduction, the government taxes, then whatever? Why do you think they usually charge you way before you're getting your money? Why can't they give you the money and then ask you, okay, fine, now pay us, give us your tax, now pay us your money, the money that you're supposed to pay. Hey, Ed, hello, do you remember you have enrollment to a circle? Why don't you give us the, they don't do that. Immediately your money kicks in your bank, gone, they cut it. You know why? They don't trust you. That's a reality. They don't. Not everyone who is out there, they don't trust you with the money. There's no way they can give you all the money and then they tell you, now do the subscription that you said that you're gonna be paying. No, they cut it immediately. That's a fact, because they don't trust you with the money. So what are you supposed to do? Also, yourself, don't trust yourself with the money. So what do? Immediately after getting the money, you ask yourself, okay, fine, I always save 30% of my income. I always save 20% of my income. Hey, I'm outside the country. I'm in Gulf, I'm in America, I'm in whatever the place. And I always recommend, if you're outside the country, save more money. If you're in Kenya, save 20, 30%, it's okay. But if you're outside the country, even if you were able to save 50% or even over 50%, that would be amazing. So the point is this: refer to that a percentage of income that you're saving. It's 40%, it's 50%, it's 10, it's 20, it's that. No, not 10. 20 is minimum, okay? But sometimes you can maybe save 10, depends on the actuality and the reality on the ground. All right, so the point is this: make sure that you define the amount of money that you're saving at the end of the day. We discussed about that topic and we said you are supposed to save at least 20% of your income. So immediately after getting your money, say you get like 30,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 or 200 or even a million, bob. All right, so you ask yourself, fine, I'm supposed to save 20%. Now what's 20% of 100,000? That's 20,000. You take your 20,000 directly to your savings. And nowadays, by the way, we don't save, we invest immediately. You can put your money into money market funds, shares, whatever, all those kind of areas. And so, by the way, sometimes it's so good to keep some money in liquid form, because you need cash. Cash is king. That's what they say. All right, so immediately after that, maintaining your cash, now define where your money goes in terms of your savings and what have you. Those are the areas that you're supposed to do first. So we say save first, then spend. Now on the point number 3, Now what comes now is your irreducible minimum recurrent expenditure. There's a very important point I've said, irreducible minimums on the recurrent expenditure. Irreducible minimums means it's the lowest you can go, all right? It's the lowest you can go. I mean, you can't even go below this. It has to be like that. That's the very basic lifestyle that you're living out there. Remember one thing, I always tell you, nobody ever pays you to get rich. For you to be wealthy or rich is all by your brain, is all by you utilizing that money that you usually get out there to make sure that you invest it and actually get something at the end of the day. So irreducible minimum means that lowest point of life whereby you can actually survive on and actually keep on moving with your life. Now, the recurrent expenditure means that money that you have to do the payment no matter what. At all the times you have to, there are these things, we call them the recurrent. They have to happen each and every time. You have to pay your rent, you have to eat, you have to do your food, you have to pay your utilities, you have to do things we call like, those things that you must pay them each and every time, each and every time, each and every time. So those are the things that we call them the recurrent expenditures. Now, this is where people do the mistake. Instead of you get the money, the very first thing you do, you go to a reducible minimums. Then after that, you think about, I don't know what debt, what. By the time you're thinking about your savings, you don't even have any money. You're saying, I can only afford to save 5,000. I have a very, very busy, tight schedule. I don't even know what I can even actually do. So I'm actually thinking of making more money and what have you. Now, the point is, and by the way, sometimes if you were to, you see, most of the clients who call me, and we have, by the way, talking of calling, you can actually give me a call. My number is on the description of this specific video. You can give me, I offer these services, by the way, at a personal level, obviously at a cup of coffee's price. Now, point is this, most of the clients whom I talk and have a conversation with, when we sit down with pen and paper and we have a conversation, in most cases you realize is actually the way they squander their money. They tend to think that they are earning less. No, it is because they do not have a budget that is actually guiding them on how they should utilize their money. So you shall now focus your money towards the reducible minimum as far as the expenditure, recurrent expenditure is concerned. Now, this is where you pay your rent, you do your food, you do whatever. And by the way, at this particular category, I recommend, once you get your money, avoid something that is called poverty tax. Poverty tax is this issue of buying things in small quantities. Hey, the cooking oil you're running out of cooking oil, you go grab maybe, let's say, as a quarter or something, and the flour, I don't know what. No. Learn to grab things in large quantities, because in most cases you get sort of a discounted price and what have you. Although there's nothing like discounted price, but anyway, there's something, when it comes to money, when buying things in wholesale. So it's always good to grab things in a holistic manner, something of sort. Now, the fourth one is that, now check on what we call the outstanding debt. If you have any debt out there, check on your outstanding debts, check on your school fees if you have 2 kids or something of sort. Now, check on something called the black tax and what have you, meaning that you're helping your family members and what have you. Now, after you've actually maintained your money, you've saved your money, now you go to your reducible minimums for the sake, you need to have your life running, okay? Now, for that matter, now what now goes towards outstanding debts? And because honestly speaking, would you dare not eat and pay someone's late? You obviously can't that. And sometimes people tend even to ignore the rent and do go eat and something of sort. That's the reality, okay? So the point is this, the reducible minimum should always come before outstanding debts and what have you. Sometimes you may eat and avoid some school fees maybe for some period of time, but then you cater for that later, all right? Okay, now the point is this, the outstanding debts, what you have, and actually if you have multiple debts, it's always good to make sure that you have a very smart way of approaching these debts. I gave a very simple procedure on how you can actually go ahead and do that. Check my other videos, school fees, the black tax, and what have you. Now, the last one but not the least is that go now to the entertainment and other supplementary spendings. But now, this is where the reverse comes in. You get your money, poof, you go to the entertainment and other supplementary. You get your cash today, you check your bank, and hey, some money has been accredited. Now, what do? You make some calls. Hey, where are you? Hey, man, I got some form and what have you. Go to a club. You drink and drink and drink uncontrollably. You bite your friends and what have you. By the time you realize, you've actually squandered like 20 G's are gone. 20 G's are gone. Now that's the time now you start be like, oh my goodness, now what do I do? I need to change on this calendar, all those kind of things. So it's always good to make sure that you follow this procedure. So by the time now you're coming to this basket of entertainment and other supplementary spendings, you already know, hey, guess what? Everything is good and everything is cool. Because otherwise, if you keep on skipping this and go to this entertainment section, and this particular point, you realize you've squandered the money that should have been meant for savings. That's the time you realize people become frustrated. People become in such a way that they believe that they are being paid less amount of money. They feel like they have a lot of responsibilities on top of them. And that particular time, that's the time you find people are saying, hey, I'm depressed, I have stresses and what have you. You start quitting your job, you start getting yourself into unhealthy debts and what have you. If I tell you the type of calls I actually receive from guys and telling me, hey, guess what? I do earn like 100 G's at the end of the month. I have like 10 apps that have actually lent me money. If I was to repay all these apps, actually I would be required to borrow again to repay them, because I'm actually at a very unhealthy state when it comes to debt. And let me tell you one thing. There is nothing amazing in this world. And for those who do follow this procedure, can tell you, there is nothing amazing in this world when you know you've actually filled the basket of saving. All right. When you very well that back at your home, your families are secured, the food is there and it is plenty. Right. Another thing you know very well, if there is any debt, you've already paid your debt. And again, if it's a school fees, you've already paid your school fees. And if it's the black task is helping some guys back at home, you've already done that. Even when you're sipping that cup of coffee, or when you're getting yourself happy and whatever you're going outing, you'll actually have a very good ambience, because you're kind of contented. You're okay. Can you imagine having fun and you have a debt? Maybe you're having fun and you do not know when a debt call will come in. You know, you're relaxing somewhere and then all of a sudden someone calls me and says, hey, Joseph, this is to remind you, you are supposed to pay your loan, and today this amount of money, and but you don't can't even have fun. All right. So, but if you utilize you outline your things like this in a quite a procedural way, then that makes you very simple to actually make a good stride when it comes to management of your money. All right. I decided to make this video because, hey, some guys get paid immediately, they run out of the money, and then they actually do not know exactly what to do. Now, this is a very simple procedure to follow immediately after you getting your cash. This is what you're supposed to do so that you move to the next level. Anyway, talking about this, perhaps you feel like, well, that's quite amazing, but I would love to have a conversation with me. You can always do exactly that, because I offer those services pertaining to financial management, about businesses and what have you. You can give me a call. Down below there is a button written, or rather out the description of this specific video. You can always grab my number out there and give me a call. And by the way, I usually post a video each and every day talking about money, making money, be it either online, offline, conventional way, savings, investments, and what have you. That's the area that I usually major on. If you don't want to miss any of my good videos in the future, do this. It doesn't cost you anything and it's free and fast. Go ahead and below there on your right, there is a small button written subscribe. Hit that magical button, turn the notification bell. And by the way, by only doing that and liking this video, a whole YouTube will notify you whenever I upload a new good video. For now, it's a goodbye. See you in the next one.